Max Reisinger. What's going on, man?
Not too much. Happy to be here.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming on. This is the Sean Lowery Show podcast. And Max is, how old are you?
17.
17 years old. Why don't you tell the audience a little about yourself? I mean, usually I take a bunch of notes on my guests. Today, I watch some of your videos and I just kind of, it's a Friday, having fun, just keep an open forum. And why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
All right. So I guess the basic story is 2 years ago, I moved to France with my family for 7 months. My mom's a French professor. She was going on sabbatical. So my whole family just moved to France. I just started a YouTube channel to document, just my life there, going to French public school as an American teen. I was just like, maybe I'll grow up through this experience and I want to be able to look back upon it. So I filmed like 50 videos during my 7 months there. Didn't really get much attention. I had maybe like 2,000 subscribers by the time I left. I came back home, everything just went crazy. And I hit like 100,000 subscribers like a couple months later. I launched a clothing brand, Perspectopia, created an online community. And ever since then, it's just been like crazy ride of like the whole internet world.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, definitely want to talk about the clothing brand. But So how many, you have like, 300,000 subscribers now on YouTube? Something like that?
310 around there, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you got a big YouTube following. And that's interesting that your first 50 videos, so you grew up in America.
Yeah.
Is that right? And then you went to France. And what's France like?
Oh, it's amazing. Much better than the United States.
Better than the United States? What makes it better?
I mean, it's just the way of life. It's much more relaxing. They have the balance down, like they work hard, but they also like relax and feels more social, at least where I live in America. I live in North Carolina.
Okay.
It's great, but it doesn't have that like European feel. I don't know.
I'm in Charleston, South Carolina, and I grew up in like Philly area, like from up north. And people always say it's like slower down south. Maybe you get a little bit of that, but I don't like hearing that France is better than America, but that's interesting. That's a good perspective. That's very interesting. And why did you want to start a YouTube when you went over there?
I mean,
Just because you had that unique element of, hey, not everyone would start a YouTube. Like what inspired you to want to do that in general? Besides for going to France, just starting a YouTube channel in general.
It was more like I knew it would be a pivotal moment for my life. And I'd always been like a pretty shy kid, but I was like, this is it. Like, I got to make this decision. And I can't look back from here. So it was just like a split moment where like everything was changing in my life. And I was like, I need an identity shift. This will be a great way to just like start fresh. And I was just like, I got to do it.
So your first video you ever did, you said you posted about 50 videos and you had like 2,000 subscribers. So it wasn't blowing up yet. What made you want to keep going when you weren't getting a lot of subscribers? Were you enjoying doing it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was more that I was like relentless in my vision. I was like, I'm gonna make it on YouTube. I was like, for me, it already had happened in my mind. I was just like, I gotta keep on going. Eventually it'll click, and then it did. But for me, it's just like, I enjoy it and I know it'll happen at some point. So it made it easy to continue to just keep on working.
You consider yourself an entrepreneur now?
Yeah.
You're one of us. So that's very much the entrepreneurial attitude, right? That like keep going no matter what. And a lot of people, they don't, especially people your age, like they don't understand that. They don't understand the grit and they want instant gratification. That's like the common thing. Well, how did you know if you're 17 now, you must have been what, 14, 15 when you started this channel?
15,
how did you know to have that attitude? Was it something that was internal? Would you read books about that? Like what made you understand that you got to keep going? I'm going to be successful no matter what, no matter how many times it takes, no matter how many videos I post, I'm going to keep pushing. What gave you that attitude?
That's a great question. I think if I can really pinpoint it back to obviously my upbringing helped, but I think it came from running. So I'm a mid-distance or a distance runner.
Okay.
And the year before it was when I started running, I was like, I'm going to break 5 minutes in a mile. And I wasn't really that much of a runner going in, but I set a plan and like, I trained for like 6 months and I like made it happen, but it wasn't easy. And I think a lot of elements from sport taught me like discipline, motivation, and that if you just keep on going, eventually it pays off. So I think I was fortunate enough to just have fostering experiences at a younger age that sort of taught me that mentality.
Do you have entrepreneurs in your family?
Not really, actually. My mom's a professor. My dad works at a university, so not quite.
And have you ever like read books about entrepreneurship before you went to France or anything like that?
Not really. I mean, I'd like started like the lemonade stand. I started a business selling origami. So I'd always been trying to start businesses when I was younger, like garage sales. I was like, how much stuff can I sell in my room? So I've definitely had like a bit of that
All
within me
right.
from a young age.
The natural entrepreneurship vibe. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I actually always say like my business is doing really well. And I was just like a regular kid up until about 18. And then when I was 19, I read the book Think and Grow Rich.
Mm,
Incredible book, changed my life. I'm 30 now and like my business is going amazing. And like basically I had to shift at that moment. But I always hear like people like Mark Cuban, so many of the people, Gary Vee, entrepreneur people, they're always like, it just was in me as a kid. It was
yeah.
natural. And that's awesome. I love that. Were you like, are you driven by money?
Not necessarily money itself, but more like freedom. I guess money sort of will secure my freedom. It's more like I want to be able to do whatever I want for the rest of my life and not be limited by money. So sort of like the
Okay.
opposite. It's not like what money can get me. It's just not being limited by money. If that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. So I always like when people say that, but that means that you're trying to get like a lot of money. I feel like
To a
that's kind
certain
of
degree.
like gauche to say, but I have no problem saying it. There's nothing wrong with it. And if
Yeah.
entrepreneurs fuel the world, they fuel productivity, jobs, like new investments, new creations that make the world better. So it's a win-win when people out there are motivated by money and also doing something great. So you're natural entrepreneur. Did you ever get that 5 minute mile?
Oh yeah. Four
That's
fifty
right.
nine point nine seven.
Oh, damn. They even track it that close. That's
Yep.
impressive, man. That's impressive. And then you went to France and started this YouTube channel, 50 videos, 2,000 subscribers. You come back to America. And I think your video that took off was, what was it? My first day at an American school or something like that.
Yeah.
And you've been big ever since then.
Basically, yeah. I mean, in like the span of a week, I like went from like 2,000 to 40,000 subscribers. And then like couple weeks later, 60,000, then 100. And then basically ever since then, yeah.
Was that an awesome feeling?
Oh my God, there's nothing like it. It
were you
is crazy.
were you checking your phone like all the time? Do you
Yeah, I'm
get it?
like
Do you get it?
walking. I
You
was
get
gonna
an
say I'm
email?
walking.
Do you get an email when you get a new subscriber?
Not back then, but I'd be like refreshing my
I
phone.
was
I'd
gonna
be
say
like
like
walking
turn that
from
off.
class to class, like refreshing it. Yeah.
That's cool. And why did that video take off?
Ooh, uh, I think. I mean, so that video took off at the same time when like my videos in France about school in France. But like it was a day in the life of French public school, my first day French public school, and then first day American public school. They all sort of took off together. Um, I think it's because I filmed it in an interesting way. Like there's not that many videos of kids going to school. I think it's just interesting. Like I don't know, like if you saw a video of like a kid going to school in Japan, you're like, what's that like? You know, it's like a very relatable thing. I think everyone
Right.
goes to school, right? And I think we're just innately curious about other humans' experiences. Um, but I don't know. I think it's just an interesting video.
Yeah. And you were carrying around a camera?
Yeah, yeah, from class to class, just filming.
What did everyone think about that?
I mean, there's definitely people who like were like, "What is this kid doing?" Even teachers would eye me, but I don't know. Some people were like for it. Some people probably judged me, but it was worth it.
A lot of people don't like cameras. They think a camera is like a loaded gun. They're like, "Whoa, get that thing away from me!" You know, like if you said you had some teachers that were like that, and some people, but you had to not care about the judgment of that, right?
Yeah, I think that was a big part. Is like I was definitely nervous going in, but I was like, if I can film this right, I know it'll be a good video. But kind of just have to tunnel vision it.
And it was worth it. It was obviously worth it.
Yeah.
So ever since your channel took off, how often do you put out new content on YouTube?
Ooh, I mean, this year I've been better with it. I'm trying to average 4 videos a month, so about every week. But in the past, it's been like maybe every 2 weeks, just because
Okay.
I got into like a bit of perfectionism, so I'm trying to get out of that.
You do all your own editing?
Yeah, yeah.
Where'd you learn that skill?
Uh, just from practicing, trying it out. I think a lot of it comes from just like watching other people and then incorporating a bit of that in my own work. But it was all I'm all self-taught.
Okay. You watched vlogs before and you liked them? Was there some people that inspired you?
Definitely Casey Neistat. I think like most
Casey.
YouTubers are like can be traced back to him, but he was a huge part of my just upbringing for sure.
So what do you think, like, a YouTuber, right? There's YouTubers, podcasters, TikTokers, influencers. Like, a YouTuber is specifically someone who puts out content on YouTube. Like, how would you say a YouTuber is mostly like a vlogger? Like, what makes a YouTuber a YouTuber, in your
Oh.
opinion?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, obviously someone who posts on YouTube, but I don't know, like I feel like someone with an interesting personality or something interesting to share and they're just going out and doing it, I guess.
Yeah, plus the editing, right? The editing and
Editing,
and the music, right?
yeah, yeah.
And all the
It's like
clips
an
and all the
art.
shots. Yeah, it is an
Yeah.
art. Vlogging. It's a hell of a form. It is really cool. It's crazy how
Yeah.
so many people like watching it, because I was scrolling through like some of your videos before this, and like the one you were making a sandwich. And I was like, he's making a sandwich. He's making a sandwich. Like, but people love that stuff.
Yeah.
I know an important metric on YouTube is like how long people watch the video,
Mhm.
right? Like, how much do you get into the analytics and like the the SEO score and the description and the links, and like how much do you care about that, or do you kind of try to not care about that and just be natural, or how do you look at the analytics?
Yeah, yeah. For a while, especially in the beginning, I was really obsessed with analytics because I was like, if I use this tag, then my video will go viral. And I was like way too obsessed with it. And I realized like over time, it's pretty simple with YouTube. You got to have an interesting title, subject, thumbnail. And you just have to tell a good story. You know, if you make a good video, people will watch it and it'll do well. It's not like, it doesn't come down to the tag or not always SEO. But right now, if you look up like French school or American school, I have like the top two videos for both. So in terms of SEO, like I have those like locked down, which is really great for the channel because it just guarantees views and subscribers. Um, but when I like approach making a new video, it's more like, all right, this would be something of like general interest. And then if I can just tell a good story, it'll get good watch time. And yeah, I just try to focus on the storytelling
Cool.
aspect.
Yeah, my producer Brandon, who's going to come on at the end and ask some questions, he
Mm-hmm.
found you, I think, through YouTube, and I'm pretty sure he searched just entrepreneur, and you like
Oh,
kind of showed up, and it was interesting because he saw the T-shirt stuff, and he's like, "We got to connect with Gen Z, with the younger people," which I always
yeah.
like to do. Got a different perspective,
Mm-hmm.
but and also once you take off, right, it's probably easier. Like when you put out a video and you check it like 5 minutes later, do you already have a lot of traction just because you already have a lot of subscribers?
Yeah, I mean, like I could almost probably guarantee like 20,000 views within like the first day or two, and then usually like in the first week it's around 40,000. But I mean, after then, usually it fades down, um, and then like occasionally it'll just be like boop, and you're like awesome. But a lot of it you can't really predict it. Like I've had
Right.
videos that perform like awfully, like the entrepreneur one. It was like day in the life of like running a business or something.
Hmm.
It was like one of my worst performing videos for the first 2 weeks, and then it just like one day just took off, and now it has like maybe 400,000 views. So you really
And
don't know.
do you know the reason why it took off after that certain time, or was it just the YouTube algorithm?
No idea. No idea.
Like, it wasn't like someone like posted about it on social media or an article about it. That's interesting. It just took off.
Yeah.
And I know the YouTube algorithm. I mean, obviously you know a little bit about it. It just basically wants to show people what they want to see. I always, as a
Yeah.
watcher, when I log into my YouTube in the car to watch something, they always have like videos I want to watch right at the top. So
Oh
they
yeah. They
know,
know.
the people. They're smart. They're smart. So
Oh yeah.
they must took a little time, but they found out people liked it and they started showing it to everyone. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Do you have some like YouTuber friends?
Yeah. I think over time I've realized like, all right, I can like, or I should start to network a bit. So like in the past couple months, I've like DM'd, started to create relationships. But yeah, it feels weird because like for so long you view them as like these like crazy figures, and then you shoot them a DM. It's like, oh, you're a regular person. So yeah, over time
Who are
I've started to.
who are some of the people that you DM'd?
I think like Elliot Choi, um, Who else? I'm blanking. Like Natalie Lynn. I don't know. You may not know them because they're mainly like kids my age. But
That's awesome
yeah,
though. And you guys are
yeah,
maybe gonna like collab, do a vlog together or something? You
yeah. In
should.
the future for sure. Yeah, I have with
That's
Natalie. Yeah.
that's awesome. That's kind of like when, like Lil Wayne and Drake do a song together, or like two rappers come together and do a song, or like it's like
Hmm.
bringing together audiences and it like amplifies how cool it is. And then
Yeah.
like, I mean, if your vlog is about your life, right? You're a day an entrepreneur, day at school, and then you get together with another YouTuber and you're gonna say make a vlog. What's it about? Like,
Good question.
I
Yeah.
meet them. Like, what is it? How do you come up with those ideas, and what would it be about?
Yeah. I mean, you usually want to find some sort of like cross between like both audiences that they'd be interested in. So, like if Elliot, he's a college student, maybe ask him about his college experience, some tips, business. And I think it's just trying to find some common ground, but also find something a little bit new to share with your audience. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't
Would it be like Elliot and Max go to the school cafeteria with their meal plan to get lunch or something like that?
know. Maybe.
But you would have to get together physically, right? For a vlog?
Most likely, yeah.
Right. Because like
Maybe, yeah.
podcasting, we can do it like this, and that's awesome. But I feel
Yeah.
like vlogging, you have to be together.
Yeah, it definitely helps to be together. Like when I invited Natalie onto one of my videos, it was like through a FaceTime thing. I used a couple clips, but I mean definitely being in person just makes it much better, yeah.
Yeah, especially for a vlog. 'Cause you kind of got to be doing something, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think collabing is really cool. You plan on like continuing to grow this channel? Like, I mean, I'm sure you do, but do you have a specific plan? Like in 10 years from now, I'm going to be like Casey. I'm going to go travel the world, do these vlogs. Like, how do you see how you're going to keep doing this over the next couple years?
Yeah. I think I'm definitely at like a pivot point because I'm
Mm.
sort of approaching the college phase next. And it's like, all right, there's college, there's gap year, there's screw college and like just do YouTube and business full time. So I'm sort of at this like crossroad where I'm trying to figure out what I exactly want to do. But I mean, I definitely see YouTube in the future. Definitely like my business and all of that. But I honestly don't know. I'm still young. I'm just kind
Amen to
of
that.
trying to take it month by month.
Are you going to go to college? What are your thoughts on
A-
that?
As of now, yeah. I think it. Yeah. For now,
Uh,
yeah.
And where do you know where you would want to go?
Right now, I'm talking to the coach at Brown, so I might go there.
Is that be for your running?
Yeah, that would be for running.
Okay. Brown, huh?
Yeah,
You got good grades?
I do.
It's funny, like, you know Gary V?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, he always talks about how bad his grades were in school. And I mean,
Hmm.
I graduated college in 4 years, like, but I was a straight B minus student. I'm sure if I tried
Yeah.
harder, I could have got some A's, like, but
Yeah.
school and entrepreneurs, like a lot of times it doesn't go together. But my personal opinion is that my college experience did not help me grow my business at all. Like my business is going great. I have like 18 employees, just got a huge building, and none of the
Wow.
skills that I learned from college helped me grow my business. But that being said, and I had a marketing degree, like an accounting minor. But that being said, I would never give up that experience that I had. It was so fun. I mean, it was parties. I met my, my now wife, all my best friends. Like it was just the experience grew me as a person for sure. Like I
Hmm.
hear a lot of people talking about is college worth it? The debt and everything like that. And it's a very valid point. It's a very valid point that it might not be worth it to go into huge debt and then you don't really even have a leg up in the world. Now, you might not have to worry about all that if you're raking in the cash with YouTube and your clothing company, right?
Yeah, I'm lucky because my mom she works at Duke and they cover a large load of like my tuition, which is
Okay.
very nice. Yeah,
So why would you want to go to college?
great question. I think it would just really enrich me. Like there's just I don't know. Like I'm at a young age where I sort of know things about the world, but like not quite. And I don't know. Like I feel like sure if I didn't go to school, I could still educate myself. I can still read books, but school forces you to learn. And especially the thing about Brown is it's an open curriculum, so I can take any class I want. There's no like requirements. Um, so it's a lot. It's more of like a flexible system, which I really like. And that's why I'm more like it's more of an appealing option for that reason.
Okay.
But also like I don't know, like 4 years to meet kids your age, network, like have fun, have that experience, and I doesn't mean I have to stop my YouTube channel. Doesn't mean I have to
Right.
stop my business. So yeah, I don't know.
You can always drop out like Kanye West, be a college dropout.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I have a lot of like my cousins, young people ask me about this, and my advice is always as like depending on the situation, but ultimately I usually say go to college just because it's so fun. And if you have help with the tuition part, that's usually the biggest problem is it's just not
Yeah.
worth the money.
Yeah.
But it's a way to get out of your hometown, reconnect. It really does help you grow in that sense. Like
Yeah.
leaving your hometown and just making like a whole new community, it's like steps you up and it really just adds to your human being like a human who understands the world. So I say
Yeah.
go for it, but definitely don't stop YouTubing. So you making some money YouTubing?
I am.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I saw you had one of those gold plaques. I saw it
Oh
somewhere
yeah.
on your Instagram or something. Let's see it.
Right here.
What's it say on it?
Presented to Max Reisinger for passing 100,000 subscribers. YouTube.
That's awesome. So yeah, so you get some ad revenue from YouTube.
I do, but it's not as nice as you think because I have an incredibly like international audience.
That affects it.
Oh yeah, so like a view in America is probably worth like 5 times more than a view from India. So
Really?
like recently, like my audience has just become like in the beginning it was like split like half American, like half French, but now it's like 20% American, like 20% Indian, 20% Philippines.
Really?
Like it's almost every single country in the world watches my videos. It's like
Interesting.
crazy. Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I mean,
Maybe
it's
they're
'cause-
considering going to American school and like that's one of the first things that comes up or something.
yeah, I think it's because a lot of it comes from the school videos, like them searching up American school, and I feel like everyone's interested in America or France. So it comes from that. I'm pretty sure.
What's do you speak French?
I
Bonjour.
Bonjour. I was basically fluent by the time I left. But I'm a little rusty now. I'm hoping to go
Okay.
back
And
finalize it.
I'm just always curious about international stuff, like the people in India that are watching your video. I don't think they would watch it if they didn't understand what you were saying, like the language. So they must be English speaking Indian people, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, there's a lot of people who comment that they use my channel to learn English.
Hmm.
Uh, so some people just watch without even understanding. I mean, you can just visually see it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's still interesting, even if you don't understand.
What's the deal with speaking English in France? Like, do most people do it? Do they teach it in school?
Yeah. It's becoming more and more common. Like, it's sort of like you need to speak English almost to be like successful in those European countries. Like in Germany, like they nail it down from a young age. Like you just sort of need English. So it's becoming a lot more popular. Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, Europe is smaller than America, and they have French, British. Well, I guess English is British, German. Like, then they got all those little countries in Romania. Like, there's so many different languages.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense to bring it together. And I am all for making the universal language English, since I already know it selfishly. I don't want to learn another language. So universal language seems like it just makes so much sense. And they are kind of leaning towards that. Like, if Europe right now had to pick a universal language, they would pick English.
I think so. Yeah.
Cool.
It just makes sense. I mean, it sort of is, right?
Yeah. I mean, America has like the Hollywood, puts out a lot of the movies into the world, right? In France, do they love like LeBron James and the NFL and NBA and Leonardo DiCaprio, or do they have some of their own cultural icons?
I think they definitely have some of their own cultural icons. I mean, it's hard to say. Like, they definitely like their own sort of French figures, and sort of like Hollywood gave them their but it was hard to say. But there's no one like distinctively that was like an figure. But they definitely were like they knew what was going on in America.
Okay. I thought France was the best country, you said.
I mean, it is.
But they
I
all
still
look up
think
to
it is.
America.
They definitely do, but they don't realize what they have going on.
Fair enough. So money, and you're making some ad revenue, and it's more in America. But like, I'm sure not a lot of people your age. I'm sure your parents aren't saying go get a job, right? They understand that you're making some money.
Yeah, not anymore.
You can show them the page, right, where it shows your revenue, and it's like, Mom, this is way better than $10 an hour, right?
No, my
And
mom, like, this, or one story.
yeah,
Was when we moved back from France. I hadn't gone viral yet. I was like just starting to get paid. I like was making $1 a day, and one day I made $2. I was like, Mom, like $2 today. And she's like, So when are you getting your job again? I was like, just wait, like it's gonna happen. And then eventually it did, and yeah.
yeah. It's like I doubled. I went from $1 to $2, Mom. I'm doubling my revenue. I don't need to get a job.
Yeah.
That must be cool to tell your parents, like, no, Mom, I don't need to get a job. They're probably like, all right, okay, all right. That's pretty impressive, actually. All right, so you don't have to. And it's not like you're being lazy. You're obviously doing stuff, making money. I'm sure they're very proud of you.
Yeah.
But so your clothing company, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of YouTubers monetizing, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You want to monetize. You have a big audience. One way's the ad revenue. Other people might do paid promotions, right? What inspired you to want to start a clothing company?
I mean, I've always been into fashion, and there's something like when you put on your favorite like item of clothing, it just like makes you feel good. And I've always just like really resonated with certain items of clothing. And I was like, I want to give someone that experience, that feeling. I always wanted to create it, but I never had the audience that would actually go and buy it. So like when the channel took off, I was like, all right, there's finally people who support me and want to support me. And I was like, sort of coincided at the right time. So I was like, perfect opportunity. I'm going to start the business.
Has it been a success?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's been success, but it's not been like easy success, but there's been like ups and downs, and like the first collection sold out really well. It was like 100 hoodies sold out in 9 minutes. So that was like crazy. And then after that, like not as good, and then up and down. So it's been a lot of learning.
Do you sell on Shopify?
I do now. I started on Squarespace for some reason, and then I recently migrated over, which is a bit of a pain, but I don't know why I was on Squarespace. Shopify is much better.
Yeah, I mean, we do millions in revenue, and Shopify is. I'm never planning on switching from Shopify, no matter how big we get. I mean, you can put some other systems in place as far as processing orders and everything, but I love Shopify, and I think they're like pretty much the only place to start this, unless you want to do Etsy or Amazon, which puts you in like a marketplace. But that you're more into like the brand element, which would be a Shopify store.
Yeah.
So how do you like produce and manufacture your clothes? What's your brand all about? What's the name of it?
Perspectopia. So it combines perspective and utopia, the words together.
Okay.
So sort of like my idea with the brand is there's like certain aspects of it. So there's an online community called Perspectopia. So we have like 6,000 members in a Discord group.
Discord, okay.
Yeah. So we have people from all sorts of countries. We like host language lessons there, like movie nights, like discussions, like all sorts of stuff going on in there.
That's cool.
And then the whole like it's sort of like a philosophy, Perspectopia. So I created it because I'm like a pretty optimistic person, and I felt like in school, like there weren't always like optimistic people around me, and I felt like I couldn't surround myself with the right people. So I was like, I can be like optimistic in my mind. And so Perspectopia is sort of like in your mind, you can be in an optimistic place no matter where you are, or like whatever your surroundings are. And that's sort of like the premise of the brand. And that's what the community is based upon. And then the clothing is sort of expressing that optimistic way of living.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very powerful like entrepreneur lesson is no matter what is going on around you, you control internally how you feel, how you can react to situations, and you can decide to be an optimistic person. And a lot of people don't really learn that till they're like a little older or never learn it. Most people just react to the people that are around them, and they react like negatively. Like it's just weird how pessimism is so big. Like you're like a generation younger than me. Do you feel like people are more optimistic at your age in general, or not really?
I mean, not really. I don't think so. I mean, there's just a lot of crazy stuff going. I guess right now, it's sort of 2020 sort of skews that a bit, but generally not really. I don't think so.
Yeah. I feel like I always think about like COVID has not affected me too terribly. My business is still able to operate. Very lucky. I don't have any kids, so I didn't have to like homeschool, and I wasn't like in school. If it were my junior senior year in high school, and I couldn't go to like parties or go to school and see my friends or go to basketball games or play sports, I would have been so pissed. I would have gone crazy. Like I always say, the people that I feel worse for, the group of people during the whole pandemic are last year's graduating seniors
Mm.
because they missed their graduation, their like senior week, their prom. I felt terrible for them because that's such a important like time in your life where you're just so excited to do that stuff. A lot of people that that age like really pissed about that.
Yeah, like last year's seniors, they had like a whole petition about it, and they were pretty upset. But yeah,
I
now it's
get it,
like
man.
happening to me.
Yeah,
It's weird.
right.
Yeah,
Do you think you'll have like
yeah.
your prom and everything this year and all that?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. No.
Dang.
Yeah,
Dang. What do they try to do? Like one of those virtual proms or something?
something like that probably.
Dang. So they petitioned, but just didn't work.
I think they had like a drive-through graduation or something where they like picked it up. I mean, like, okay.
But this year, I mean, I guess it's like probably like 4 or 5 months away. I mean,
Yeah.
they say COVID's like harder to get to younger people. Like the teachers, are they just pretty much like, we're not going to be labeled as these super spreaders? Are they more doing it just for the general good of not wanting to spread everything, or are they kind of like following the politics and like the rules, or like why wouldn't they allow you to have their prom this year? Just is that what they believe in?
I think it's safety. I mean, it's like a pretty liberal area, and they're very like strict with it. I think we recently had an uptick, so it's just like I mean, it's like okay, it's your prom, but they're like people's lives are at stake, so I don't think they care.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to debate with someone if they're like, "Oh, so you want this guy's grandpa to die?" And you're like,
Yep,
"No." They're like, "All right then." And it's like, oh, it's
yep,
like it's tough to come back to that. And like, of course, you
yeah,
don't want anyone to die, you know. But
yeah.
that's a shame. Well, I hope you still have a fun prom. But well, I
Thank
don't
you.
know, virtual, whatever. You can dance in your room by yourself, whatever. But so how do you produce your clothing?
So I've tried manufacturers, and it was a
S-
pain. Like I've had
Screen print, screen print.
yeah, like screen printing and all that, and they messed it up 3 times, and that really screwed me over.
How'd they
So I
mess it
was like,
up?
all right, like first off, they used like half the right t-shirt brand, and then the other half was like a completely different style of a t-shirt. I was
Uh,
like, what are you guys doing? But this was like during the pandemic,
Dude,
so like
there's been a lot of supply issues during the pandemic. Like we actually do
yeah,
that.
so
Like
like
we have an ash gray sweatshirt that we sell tons of, and like some are different brands. But that's annoying for you because it's like this is my clothing brand. Like it has to be
yeah,
across the board the same. So I feel them a little bit,
yeah.
but I get how that sucks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I was like, all right, well, like, is there a way I can do this in house to control the variables? So I bought like a heat press. I have like a vinyl
Ah,
machine, and like basically like I can invite over like a couple friends, like all masked up, whatever, safe, and we can like pump out like 200 crew necks, and like I'm still like small enough to where I can do it all house, control the profits, and but for the next collection, it's getting bigger, so I'm gonna try to do it with some manufacturers. But so
yeah,
far, I've been doing it in house.
dude. I started in my mom's basement with a little screen printing thing. I now have, like I said, 18 employees. Getting I'm going to be having, I'll have 12 industrial embroidery machines, and
Wow.
I have 4 now, but I'm getting 4 more in the new building. So I'll have 8 direct to garment DTG printers.
Mm,
So I know all about, and we have vinyl. I know all about like production, and
yeah,
I think it's funny that like a little bit doing it yourself. When you do vinyl by yourself, is it such a bitch?
a little bit, a little bit.
Like that shirt you
But
have on now, Nike, right? You couldn't do
yeah,
that with vinyl, could you?
no, no,
Vinyl,
no,
you
no.
have the vinyl where it's very like, um, just like block colors.
Yeah, I did like it was like a puff print vinyl. So I just did
Ah,
like a white logo, and like it was simple, but it looked really good. So it was easy to
okay,
do that.
okay.
Yeah,
And what shirts do you use for blanks?
I used comfort colors,
Comfort
so a
colors.
little expensive, but they're really nice. Yeah.
Do you ever get caught up on? I had like a couple brands. Right now, our main business it's for girls. It's monogrammed clothing. You're from North Carolina.
Yeah.
You know, girls love monograms. It's very southern.
Oh yeah.
We have like like one of the biggest monogram companies called United Monograms, and
Hmm.
so now it's a little less like brandish. But when I first started, I was obsessed with a little bit with like the tag situation. Like you want to have like your own tag in there.
Yeah.
Did you ever
Yeah.
yeah? What's your situation with that? Did you ever try to snip them out and like sew in a new tag?
Yeah, I tried to sew it out or like do the whole sewing thing. My grandma
Uh,
came over, she taught me to sew. I was like, there's no way I can do this for all of them. So like I had my friends do it. We had some like way where you could like clip it on and it worked. Um and so like half the collection was that. The other half of the collection was like hoodies, champion hoodies, that were embroidered, but they had like the manufacturer sew them in, which is really nice. But yeah, I'm picky about the tag. You know, it's like
I would
feels so
imagine.
like crucial. Yeah.
And I saw like I think I saw in one of your videos that you labeled the sleeve like 1 to 35.
Yeah, that was like a smaller collection. It was like 35 pieces, and like I spent like 2 hours on Photoshop, like changing the two, the three, the four out of the 35, and that was a pain, but I think it was worth it.
Dude, yeah, that's crazy. Like, I mean, if I sold 35 shirts today, I would like go out of business. Like we sell so many, and
Yeah,
but you are going for that kind of that like a little bit of that streetwear vibe, right? A little bit of like what's the brand with a red
Supreme.
y- Supreme? Like you like Supreme?
Yeah, I don't like them, but I understand what they're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
like
understand what they're
mix of
doing.
creating the hype. Yeah, yeah.
Are they still popular? Honestly, I haven't thought about Supreme in like probably 4 years. Are they still huge in that space?
I think they're keeping relevant. Not as huge as they were a couple of years ago. I'm pretty sure. Like, but I think they're still racking it in.
And they basically are the masters of the kind of the streetwear, the cool little like symbols, like you know, 1 to 35, a limited run, like ooh, like I got this one, I got, and then you can't
Yeah.
ever like get it again, right? Like that's kind of what you're going for.
Yeah, I mean, just like the limited aspect creates the hype and the demand and sort of creates like, I mean, like for my brand, it's sort of like you want each clothing or like item of clothing to feel important and like sort of not like unique, but sort of to have that like
Right.
value, I guess. And having it limited sort of creates that perceived value. So
And
trying to find the balance of
do you find like I mean you have your huge YouTube channel, like you're
that.
not
Mhm.
starting this from scratch. Like that actually is very important. I mean anyone who
Oh
tries
yeah,
to start like a lifestyle brand, it usually is pretty lame because they just don't have any it doesn't matter how cool like the logo is. It matters
yeah,
what it is. You get it, Perspectopia. Like you
the brand,
understand,
yeah.
and the fact that you have a big YouTube channel means so much to that because
Oh yeah.
you have credibility and you get that. Um, like, do you ever like what's your revenue like overall? If you don't mind me asking, like how many shirts have you sold overall?
How many shirts?
Uh,
For all the collections, I think it maybe like probably over 1,000 items
Okay,
total now in
okay,
within 1 year.
you're making more money probably from YouTube.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because one thing you're really going to have to get into if you want to be successful in the clothing thing, and I faced this situation, is your situation and relationship with production and manufacturing.
Yeah.
I I decided a few years ago, once the monogram thing really started taking off, because I had a screen printer and I had my own little thing. It was I was so bad at it. I went back to my fraternity when after I graduated college and I sold them shirts and they washed out. They went out. They people wore them
Oh.
once and they put them in the dryer and they all came out. I was so embarrassed.
Oh.
I had some bad situations with like me producing them. I mean, I'm an idiot. I didn't know what I was doing. I was the heats and the pressures and the different things. So I started there. Then I started using another screen printer to do some stuff. And then my first success was I'm a fan of Notre Dame football randomly.
Mhm.
And I had a big Twitter account. I grew it up to like 60,000 followers. And I
Wow.
started selling shirts through a Shopify site to that audience. And that's when I first started making money. And
Yeah.
now it was copyright infringement. It was illegal. So I eventually had to stop doing it. But that's when I was like, I would love this e-commerce thing. I love selling to audiences online. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to now not focus on like making group shirts and orders. I'm going to focus on like branding and selling to niches. And I'm going to get someone else to produce it. And then at that point, I kind of stored it in my basement and shipped it out myself. I learned a lot about shipping. And then for a while, I had this brand called like United Tees. It was like a 4th of July style tank tops. It was kind of like a brand. Like we had a lot of sales. I was able to quit my job. It was my full-time thing. It's my full-time thing. And it was awesome because I was like 22 and I was like, I'm officially an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So at that point, I would send things into like a 3PL. You know what that is? It's like you send all in boxes, all your stuff in, and then once people place orders on your Shopify site, you click a button and they ship it to them. You heard about those?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of different options for that. There's Amazon. You can use Prime, but there's some other ones. So I went through that for a while, and I don't know. It wasn't. I didn't like it because there was a lot of problems with it, and then, the worst thing was I got into running ads, and I would have a popular product, and I'd have small in stock and large in stock and 2XL in stock, but medium and, there was limited sizes and colors. So like say half of the things were out of stock. I didn't want to run an ad to that page because like, what if I run a perfect ad to the perfect customer, they click, but they're a medium and that's sold out. It was such like a waste. So I started to hate that like in stock stuff. So then when this monogram thing picked up, it was amazing because we decorated it after someone bought it. And it took a little longer to get to them. But then at this point, my now wife convinced me to get like this little embroidery machine. She was doing them. And I hit a realization point where I was like, okay, this business model is amazing. Like girls love shopping online. It's personalized. They'll keep coming back over and over. We found this huge southern niche for it. And I had this realization. It was like, oh shit, I'm going to have to build like a factory. I'm going to have to build like a manufacturing plant. And I was thinking, do I want to do this? Do I want to do this? I get how much work it's going to be involved in it. I get how hard it's going to be in the years of staying up, fixing machines. I decided that I'm going to do it. I decided that I'm going to do it because one, I can control my own manufacturing and I can control the supply. I can make more money. I have a bigger profit margins. I don't need to depend on someone else. I have the effort to do it. But it's been about 8 or 9 years. And I'm finally just bought this like $3 million warehouse that's like 22,000 square feet. And we're moving everything into there. And it's like coming to fruition. And now I see all the people who want to start t-shirt companies, but they're not going to start factories. So I think one of my business models in the future might be producing things for people who just want to sell a few things online and get it shipped right to their customers. I figure I can figure out that business model one day. Right? So that's my kind of story about how I started the branding, the shipping to the warehouses, and them shipping it myself, building a production facility. I'm all in on the production. Where do you see the future of you doing it? Keeping to using suppliers, maybe?
I mean, first off, congratulations with all that. Like that's incredible.
It's been a fun ride.
Oh my God, I bet. Yeah, I think you're right. There's definitely like a gap between like the people sort of starting out and that like in between zone. Like I'm talking to a lot of people who have brands and like they're up and coming. They're not like so large where they can have their own factory, but they're getting to a point where they can't ship out all their orders. It just takes too much time in the manufacturing.
Right.
They want to focus on what they're doing.
Right. Sales.
And yeah, exactly. They've tried like some companies to ship it out, but they mess it up. It was a pain. It's too expensive, and there's no one doing it right. And I think if you were to figure that out, I think you'd find a lot of success there. Yeah, it's just not easy.
The thing is, I think for maybe my future vision, I don't think it would apply as well to you, who has like the streetwear style, because I'm thinking that we can like keep in stock certain shirts, maybe cover colors, maybe gild them, and we can like print different things on them. But like you don't want yours to be just like printed on demand and sent to a customer with a gilding tag. You want yours to be right. You want yours to be like supreme, like lifestyle-y. And I don't know. Maybe my advice would be like, I get that how cool that is, but like limit your revenue. it's hard to build a brand for clothing because you do have to figure out how you're going to do the production of it. And if that whole 35 in stock thing, that's really cool. But like also 35, that's not that many. Like you want to sell hundreds and hundreds a day. So it's interesting. And I'm going to be watching you to see like where it turns out to go. But that's something to really think about. What level do you want to be at when it comes to production? And if you find a really good supplier or manufacturer, I noticed on your site, a lot of the stuff sold out. Like, that's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have demand, but you only got this many printed. And then, like, it limits how much revenue you can make. And that limits how much you can grow the business. And, like, if you want to hire some people to ship, but everything's sold out, then, like, then you can't offer them, like, a sustainable job. So, start to really understand your personal relationship with what you want in a manufacturing world, because a lot of people don't want to get into it.
No, yeah. I mean, there's definitely like a fine balance between creating that demand, but then also having items in stock. Like I keep some items in stock, like indefinitely, like forever. I think with the brand, I don't know. I feel like to a certain degree, you do need that balance and value that like it's sort of limited. And other items, it's like, okay, cool. You can have it. I mean, I don't know. You're definitely right, though, that you want to be able to grow it.
Supreme, they can sell a plain T-shirt for how much? Like, I feel like
maybe.
I feel like sometimes they even have one that are like, or Gucci even. It's like $200 for a T-shirt, and that is an awesome business model. If you can do that, it's just creating the demand, and then I guess being able to soak so much profit out of that, and then keeping people wanting. If you could do that, that's a completely different business model than we have now. Because we sell so many products now that we essentially mostly sell things only when they're on sale. And it's beautiful. I love my business model now because we can sell as many as we want. And then we just order them. So if something picks up that I didn't expect to pick up, we can just keep selling it. And then we just order them. And even if, we didn't have to have it in stock. So now that we're getting this bigger warehouse, we might store some more stuff so we can have it ready. But do you ever run ads or anything like that? Or have you been able to get all your sales organically through your audience?
Yeah, I've just been super lucky with YouTube. That just directly funnels in. And it's like a waste of money to spend time on ads where
don't do it if you don't have to. Yeah, don't do it if you don't have to. I mean, like we've had like 5 million, 6 million in revenue last year, and I spent like 25% of that on ads. Like, and I mean, it's profitable, but imagine if I could have that 25% back. Like that'd be amazing. Yeah.
Do you have any, or have you dabbled in like influencer marketing, or is it just like ads, like Facebook, Instagram?
No. Yeah, we do influencer marketing all the time.
Is it more effective?
Well, sometimes it's hard to track how much. You kind of know. Like if somebody just posts something on Instagram and then you see your traffic go up and you get a lot of sales, you kind of know. It's hard to directly correlate the sale of an influencer to it, but honestly, sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. And the girls that we work with, big Instagram following, they're all about fashion and stuff like that. They want like $7,000 for one Instagram post and one story of a try on. And we pay it. Like we pay it, and sometimes it's not worth it. And then sometimes it's so worth it that it pays for all of it.
Yeah.
It takes off. And then here's the best thing. So they post a picture, they post a story, and they get their audience's eyeballs on your site, on your Instagram page. That's good. But if they take a really good picture and you screenshot it or get it or whatever, then you can run an ad with it later. That kind of makes it worth it. Sometimes they don't like that, and they'll be like, hey, stop running my ad. But that can really make that $7,000 worth it if you can use that picture in your, like, just basically take it, post it on your Facebook page, run an ad, and then you get tons of revenue from that continues to go, that's profitable. That increases the worthness of doing it. Have you ever, like, had people offer you to be an influencer and you like put products and stuff in your videos?
Yeah. I've worked with a couple brands more recently. But I've had that with like Grammarly. They're like, can we have this segment? And then they use that, and I think they target the ads on my audience with that, which is probably really
how do you
smart.
feel about it?
I mean, it's fine because they pay me more for it. So
They pay
I
you
mean, it's
more
okay.
for it? Like they
Yeah,
told you that they were going to do that?
Well, basically, I was like, if you're gonna do that, I want my rate to be higher. So they matched me at a higher than what my
So
normal rate
at
was.
first, did you know that they were going to do it?
No, until I read the contract. And
Okay,
I was
till
like,
you read the
okay, I see what you
contract.
guys are doing. And then I was like, all right, well, I want more then. If you guys are gonna like, it's not that I'm being used, but if you're gonna use me, like, I want to get part of that.
Dude, that was very smart of you. That was very smart of you because
Yeah.
yeah, because you can get years later. Like I still run some like story ads and some posts from influencers a couple years ago. Now, we also will have customers tag us and use those photos sometimes on ads, and like they love it.
Yeah.
I think it's just the fact that like when you pay them, and I don't know why it does so well. Does it do so well because it's such a good picture or because the people recognize them? I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But that was smart of you to. So you make money through the ad revenue, and then how often do you do that? How often do you seek out sponsors within your videos? Because I would imagine I hate commercials, and I always say there should be more product placement in movies, TV shows, YouTube videos. Why not? How often do you seek that out?
So I actually don't seek any of it out. It all comes to me. But I mean, now I'm at a point where like I'm gaining more momentum with the channel, so it just like floods in. So it's like
You can pick and
I can
choose.
choose and pick. Yeah, which is really nice.
So Grammarly, like, how did you incorporate them in some of your videos?
So I think one of my videos is just talking about like, all right, like I'm applying to colleges right now. Like I'm in school, like I'm doing schoolwork, and I use Grammarly to help me like write my essays. They help me like reword it, so it's seamless to like what I'm actually doing. It's like part of my lifestyle.
So in the
So
vlog, you just kind of name dropped.
no, so it's like a 90-second like dedicated thing. So it's like, all right, this video is also sponsored by Grammarly. Like as you guys know, like I'm applying to colleges right now. Like here's some features. Here's the link.
Okay.
And you talk about it for a little bit, and then all right, back to the video.
Okay. And that is you editing it into the vlog originally, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder and what is Grammarly?
It's like the plugin for it like auto corrects your writing. It helps like suggest different ways to like phrase it. It's basically like an AI system for writing.
That was smart of them to like reach out to you with the whole school thing.
Yeah.
I wonder, do you ever know, or did they tell you like how many people signed up through your video? Or do you have any of that information?
They haven't. I mean, I'm really curious. But,
yeah. I wonder if they would like tell you, because then you could like use that to negotiate rates probably with other parties that are interested in, be like, hey, listen, Grammarly got like 5,000 people to sign up. And so you could maybe use that. But I mean, I don't know if I would tell an influencer.
Yeah.
I don't know if they really wanted to know. I might, but it's also, like I said, hard to know. Now they probably have some type of good tracking that know it came from your video. Did they give you like a link to use?
Yeah, they gave me a link. And then, I mean, the only reason I know it's probably successful because they came back around. They're like, all right, we want to do another one. So I can like sort of assume that it had to do well.
Yeah. Was it like Grammarly like /Max or something like that? Okay.
That's exactly it.
So they could track that.
Oh yeah.
That's really cool. So like ad revenue, you got a lot of ways you can make money. And I feel like a lot of YouTubers, they are in this situation. And like I feel like the clothing brand's probably your least profitable out of all these avenues, right?
Yeah, at the moment, yeah. I think it's a long-term game with the clothing brand.
Yeah. What are other ways that YouTubers monetize?
Oh, I mean, you definitely have ad sponsorships. I mean, I've gone live before on YouTube and people donate money. So that's nice. I have a Patreon where I show like behind the scenes of like creating my videos and make a couple $100s a month doing that, which adds up. I think it's like maybe 8,000-9,000 a year just showing behind the scenes.
And then like I always like sometimes I listen to a podcast and they're like, if you want to donate on Patreon, go for it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, am I stupid? Yeah, you're like, why would I do that? I mean, okay, like, but you are putting like a paywall there, and you're saying like, I'll give you this behind the scenes stuff with a Patreon. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. So it's paywall. I show like what I'm doing. Like we have like a monthly Zoom call, so you just talk, chat about whatever. It's just sort of like, I don't know. Since you are like an influencer, it's like people are interested in you.
Yeah. And is that people that are also like trying to learn from you, that are trying to like learn some tips, tricks about their own vlog, or is it people who just want to be like, oh my god, it's Max? Hey, which one's
Probably
is
a
it?
combination of both.
Okay.
It's probably like there's three. There's like people like Max. There's people like I'm interested in YouTube, and then there's like older people who just like I want to support what you're doing. Like you're helping the youth. Like okay.
Do you feel like you're helping the youth?
For sure. Yeah.
How?
I think. I mean, it's more like I don't even think I know. Like I've gotten, I think, thousands of messages from kids. Like every day, I get like probably 100 DMs and like messages, letters. Like watching your videos change my perspective on the way like I approach my life. Like I turn my life around. I'm more optimistic now. And I mean, people have told me, I guess.
All right. That's the best way to know that you're doing it. If people literally say, hey, Max, you changed my life in a positive way, well, that checks out. So that probably feels good, right? It feels good?
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
More fulfilling than all the money stuff.
But that doesn't hurt though, right?
Doesn't hurt, yeah.
That's exciting, man. Like, not a lot of people your age make money doing this type of stuff and have fun doing it too, right? Like, would you, if you're talking to someone else that's your age, one of your friends from school, not from like the YouTube world, would you suggest that they start a vlog?
Yeah, I'd suggest everyone to do it. I mean, I feel like everyone has something unique about them or something they're passionate about that they can share. So I feel like you might as well try it. It's the same thing with like college. Like you might as well go out and try the experience, and you can always drop out. You can always stop, but I feel like there's nothing to lose.
Then the downside of trying would just be the time and effort that you put in. And maybe like if you feel like embarrassment, and but you shouldn't, and that would be one of the lessons that you learn. But how many people out there like you do you think have made as many videos as you and have done it as long as you and only have like 10 subscribers? Do you think there's a lot of people like that?
Probably, but they definitely stopped at some point, or maybe they just didn't have enough self-awareness to correct. Like, I don't know. I mean, there definitely are people out there, but I feel like eventually talent gets recognized, and if you work hard enough and you're smart enough with what you're doing, you'll get recognized eventually.
And did most of your subscribers just subscribe because they wanted to, or did you like? I mean, I'm sure you say like and subscribe, but like YouTube is interesting because you don't. That's interesting.
No,
you specifically don't. Because there's a lot of YouTube channels that I like and watch and show up on my feed, and I don't think I'm subscribed to them. Like, you don't have to subscribe to something on YouTube. Like, so most people, like, if there's a channel with a lot of subscribers, it's just organic, right? Like, was your subscriptions just organic?
Yeah, completely organic. I guess people interested in my life and seeing what I'm going to continue to do. But I don't know. I don't ask people to subscribe. For some reason, that feels like kind of icky to me.
Everyone does it, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I always wonder if it works. It probably would help you at this level, but if that's part of your charm, I mean, stick with it. Like, sometimes I'll be like, I'm not subscribing, but then sometimes it'll be someone I like, and they'll be like, hey, if you could subscribe, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll subscribe. Like, I wasn't subscribed already. Like, oh geez.
Yeah.
So then I'll do it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do it on YouTube videos more than anything else, just because of that. People don't think about it. People don't think like follow.
I've had that happen. Yeah. There's definitely been moments where I've been like watching a couple of their videos and they ask them like, oh, I thought I already was. I think it definitely helps like the call to action, but I don't know, like at some point I'll probably start doing it more, but in like a clever way, but I'm probably losing out on some subscribers there.
Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing something right.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring in my man Brandon. So Brandon's like probably in between our ages. What's up, Brandon? And we've been doing this new thing at the end where he's different than me, like, and gives a different perspective.
I'm a
and
lot less
questions.
professional, I would say. Yeah, man. So yeah, this is a little segment called Brandon's Big Bites, and they're random,
Oh,
off the wall, just kind of first like hot take that you can think of when I ask you. So
all
question
right.
one, so like, how's having a vlog where people want to be in it, like your friends at school and stuff like that, and your clothing company, like, does your friends support your clothing company as much as they support your vlog?
Yeah, I think they want to get involved and help me out as much as possible. They've all like wanted to help ship things out. They want to be in the videos and definitely more interested in the brand than the actual videos.
Did you get like any like hate, kind of like you're doing well, or like you're getting popular from them, or like they didn't like that you're like trying to like do something big for yourself? Like, did you get any like jealousy, I guess?
I mean, if there was any, it was behind the scenes, but honestly, I just stopped talking about it because it felt kind of awkward.
Okay, okay.
That's cool that they want to help you ship.
Yeah,
Like,
helps out.
are you paying them?
I give them
Pizza,
free clothing.
Free
Yeah,
clothing?
I order a pizza and I give them a free clothing item.
and
That's enough.
beer, and beer.
No, I don't drink.
I
He's
know.
not,
Okay, okay. I know. I know.
you're
That's
not old
something.
enough, right?
I know. All
No.
You
right.
could also you could also use the currency of being like, I'll put you in the video, maybe.
There's that. Yeah.
All right. All right. So question two. So like, having 300,000 subscribers, like how does that do, what does that do to your ego? And do you feel like you have to like constantly feel like you need to be liked? Like you have to stay liked by people?
Yeah, that's a great question. To be honest, I thought I'd feel different. I was like, all right, someday when I get this number, I'll feel like this god or whatever. But I honestly forget that I have the subscribers. Like, I still feel completely like myself. Um, but definitely, like, I'm sort of probably addicted to the attention that I get. Like, I'm just used to it now. Like, you get the comments, you get the messages every day. It's just like part of your normal life. So, I mean, if I ever get to a point where it dies down, I'll probably have to deal with that then. It's maybe an addiction.
Yeah.
And
Actually, let me pop in for a second. Like,
yeah.
I'm always fascinated, like childhood stars. And I mean, you're a little older than like a Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone, but it's very,
Yeah,
very common that their lives get all fucked up because like there's something like
Yeah.
wrong about the brain development of being so famous at a young age. So just don't let that happen to you. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I'm that famous, but yeah.
Yeah. Don't do
And
drugs.
you're not that young. And you're not that young. Like you're not like 11 or like Justin Bieber. Like was he what 12
Yeah.
when he? So you have a good head on your shoulders, which is the most important thing.
All right. And then question three. All right. Declare something like a bold statement that you think your generation will solve or cure, like cancer, poverty, racism, the government, like something that you think your generation will solve or cure.
I think we'll fix the environment and like the world. Like I think it'll start healing a bit.
Do you have any like people you look up to your age like right now?
Look up to my age. Not really, more like historical figures and I don't know, just like the whole like I feel like the time period itself is just exciting with like innovation, technology, the internet, like just like you can like feel the movement. I think that's inspiring for me.
Yeah, yeah. And then question four. So like freshman year for me, I went to USC in Columbia. Gamecocks like was like one of my most like favorite memories of my life was freshman year of college. I thought you were at UNC Chapel Hill, so I'm gonna redirect this question. Like, so describe like the fantasy of what you think your freshman year is gonna be like. Are you gonna like smoke weed? Are you gonna go to all the parties? Are you gonna like skip classes? Are you gonna like just do crazy things? Like, what do you think your freshman year in college is gonna be like?
Freshman year in college. Geez. I mean, I'll probably I mean, I don't want to get too cocky about like
Are you gonna
how
focus on
focused I'll be.
girls, or are you gonna focus on grades? Like, yeah.
I'll definitely focus on staying like learning and trying to balance YouTube. I mean, I feel like I don't have time for like partying or anything. It just doesn't interest me at the moment. But I mean, definitely having the environment shift, it could change. But I don't know. I've tried to focus on like YouTube business and schools will hopefully intertwine with those. But I don't see myself partying. It's just not really who I am. But you never know.
All right. Yeah,
Partying's fun.
that's
Yeah.
it.
But yeah, I'm interested in like the thing you were saying about like your generation, right? You're probably
Mhm.
you're Gen Z. Is that that's what you are?
I think. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I'm like millennial, like the perfect millennial age, like right in the middle of like the millennial thing. Yeah, like you mentioned the environment. Like you think that's something a lot of people your age like care about?
I think they care about the environment. Yeah, I mean, we have so many issues I feel like our generation cares about, and I feel like we're starting to get a voice. And I think social media allows us to leverage it and be interconnected to help solving these issues. Where in the past, like you could have the idea in the movement, but it doesn't really like translate around the world well. But I feel like now we have the technology, and we're getting to a
Right.
point where we can start tackling issues.
Yeah. Do you think people your age like I don't know what you're talking about? I mean, like I want the environment to be better. Of course I do.
Yeah.
There's like Elon Musk was on Joe Rogan's podcast yesterday, and they were talking about the environment, and he said,
Yeah.
"I have faith that the environment will be fine, but I just assuming that we don't think it'll be fine. Like we obviously have to work to like make it better." But he said, assuming that that's the case, like I think it's gonna be fine. Like and of course, like I think you had some renewable stuff like in your clothing line, like made that part of your brand a little bit.
Yeah.
I just think sometimes like the environment is such a big topic that like I don't know,
Yeah.
a common 17-year-old like all right, what you know what you're talking about? Like do you think people your age are know what they're talking about? Or do you think that maybe just old people say they don't know what they're talking about because they're boomers or whatever? Or like do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
mentioned your generation conquering these topics. Like you have faith that everyone is smart to know like what is important in the world at your age.
I feel like probably to a certain degree, no one really knows what they're talking about. But I think we just have a fresh perspective, or maybe a bit more optimistic. But I don't know. Like I feel like we'll figure it out. Like they'll within the next 60 years, someone will like invent a way to like capture carbon. I think Elon Musk
Exactly.
is going to give away like 100 million. Like someone has to have some like advancement where we figure it out.
Exactly.
I don't know. I just feel like it has to click.
I agree. That's kind of like if I ever put the like recycling in the wrong bin by accident, I'm always like, ah, shit. All right, well, someone's gonna figure out like something awesome. Like, so,
Yeah.
obviously, I try to do the best I can. But what are like some other like things that your generation like really like cares about?
I mean, I definitely say more and more like conversations around mental health. I think that's a big thing. Because I mean, at the end of the day, like if your mind isn't healthy, then everything else sort of doesn't matter. You know, like if
Of
you're
course.
depressed, you could be living everything great. And um, so I hope we start to figure out ways to I don't know, just improve just like society's mental health as a whole. That's something I'd like to see
And
happen for
and
sure.
that's really connected to social media, right? Dude,
Oh yeah,
I'm addicted to my phone. Let's be honest. Like I'm addicted to the shop. I'm addicted to the Shopify app.
oh yeah,
I'm addicted to Instagram, Twitter.
Get
I
on.
mean, I
All
am a
right,
little older.
peace
I have a great
out.
head on my
Thank
shoulders.
you.
Like my life's fine. Like I don't have any mental health issues,
We'll let
but
you know when it comes out.
it's very
Bye.
common. Like addiction's bad at a young age to anything,
yeah,
because it just messes like with your head. And of course, everyone loves social media. You have 300,000 YouTube subscribers. Like, do people your age aware, and do they discuss like how addiction to your phone is bad? But are they discussing that on their phones, or like what is the conversation like with your age group about mental health
yeah.
related specifically to social media and phones?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've had conversations with my friends about that, and it's sort of like a split. Like, there's people who are aware of it and they actually take action. They delete it off their phone, and this other half, they're like, okay, it's like vaping. Like, a lot of kids are like, I know it's bad for me, but I like the nicotine high. They still do it. So I think people know, but they don't care. I mean, it's like eating unhealthy. Like, you know, it's not great for you, but you can't quite stop. And I don't know. But personally, like I delete it off my phone because it just sucks me. And like it's like fasting, I guess. Like I'll delete it off my phone if I need it. I'll re-download it, but otherwise, it just like it sucks me in.
You fast?
Yeah.
I started doing it the last couple of years. Like when I was your age, they just told you like go you have to eat 3 meals a day. Like you have to do that.
Yeah.
That was like the government structured like
Oh,
food
yeah.
pyramid. Like it's changed now. So that's cool that you guys, your generation definitely has so much like knowledge, and mine too, dude. I'm young as hell. Like I learned all of my education through podcasts and YouTube. Like there was a point where I would go to Barnes and Noble and like start reading a book. Barnes and Noble's not even around anymore, maybe a couple stores. But then I didn't have any money, so I would like bookmark the page and put it like in the back, and I come back the next day and like get it and like read it again. And I got a lot of knowledge like that. But what you used to have to like go to the library or we have so much information at our fingertips. And I don't think social media or your phone is bad if you just use it right and you understand. And that's at an older age too, like 15, 16, like vaping's probably worse than just because of your developing mind and addiction in general. And like you said, some people get it, some people don't. That's basically the deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think kids, it's just like you're too young and you're too vulnerable to be able to have like enough discipline to realize it's bad for you to have. Like there are girls in my grade who their like screen time is like 9 to 11 hours on average per day, and that's crazy. Like,
you think it's mostly Instagram? Is that what's the most popular app for people your age right now? Like Instagram, TikTok?
I think now it's TikTok. TikTok, I think just like, it's like a casino. They just get sucked into it and they don't realize how much time they're spending on it. Yeah, I think TikTok just sucks everyone away.
Instagram's still cool for people your age?
It's cool, but like, I think it'll stay cool. I don't know, but like TikTok's more like just like entertainment. Right. Instagram's more like connecting with your friends, seeing photos of people. Right. I don't use TikTok, so I wouldn't know though.
When I was like 18, and like my first couple years in college, Facebook was like the coolest thing. And then by the time I was like 24, like everyone's parents started to come on it, and it just like wasn't cool anymore. Like everyone kind of started going off Facebook, and I guess they started going more on Twitter for a little while, and then Instagram became like the number one thing. But yeah, we're not that far apart. I'm acting like I'm some grandpa back in my day.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, you're the man. Like, what do you want people to go follow you on YouTube or what? What's your final parting words?
Parting words. I mean, you can follow me on YouTube, Max Reisinger, Reisinger, Instagram, Twitter, Clubhouse now, Max BRSEE. Yeah, but thank you again for having me on. That was awesome.
Awesome. All right, and when you blow up and you become big, famous, come back onto the podcast sometime. All right. All right, man. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And peace out, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Thank you guys so much.
Boom. Oh my God. I just got the worst news ever. Turns out, if you don't subscribe to the podcast, I will die. So please subscribe. Please. My life depends on it.